Shameless plug incoming. Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Pre-recorded from Volpes Studios, it's the MCS1 show featuring Caleb Hanna, and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to another exciting edition of the MCS1 show. I'm MCS1. We're being joined via satellite, my dear compadre Caleb Hanna. Yo, what up, Caleb?
What up, Mark? What up, peoples on the interwebs?
In the world or
All
whatever.
of them. I mean, every single person listens to our show, right? Is that delusional enough? Or
Depends on what therapist you ask. I mean, probably not. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
fair enough.
Kind of how I assume. I just assume everyone listens to our show. But you know what they say about people that assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to know unless,
No, I have to say, ever since hearing that phrase, I've had to purposely rephrase all of my statements. Instead of saying assume, I have to say I thought it was this, or I mean, it's just so ridiculous because I'm saying pretty much the same thing. It's just a different word to avoid hearing some jackass say, "Oh, you know what happens when you assume."
Like it's like the most clever thing in the world to say.
Yeah, it's their one-liner to stop all arguments or whatever.
Yeah, dude. Every time I hear it, I've told you what I say when people say that, which I learned from a buddy of mine. Just the whole, whenever they say that, oh, you know what happens when you assume? Yeah, it means you're an asshole.
And let's be real, they kind of are.
I mean, it's definitely not a false statement, one could say. No. It's not fake news.
Definitely not fake news.
Which is the phrase that's going around nowadays. So
oh my gosh, the fake news. I got some stuff we're going to have to talk about involving that sometime soon. But before we get into the show today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the big announcement that we had a couple weeks ago, about us opening up a t-shirt line. Had a couple of bits of feedback, and for those that don't know, we opened up, you can check this out at the MCS1show.com. We opened up t-shirts. We're just selling basic merchandise, and had a little bit of feedback from some people, and wanted to announce some of that on the air today. But and this is all pretty cool. Some of the designs that we did, a couple of people have requested that we have artwork specific for it. Like you could just buy the prints instead of a shirt. And so from our website, we have the option out where you can buy the prints of just the of the artwork rather than a shirt. And in addition to that, we also added a couple of, this is really weird, but it was requested, journals.
Right.
Like book covers kind of thing or whatever. One of my favorite particular ones was the summer sales bro for Provo, where it says, bro, I'm going to make $50 grand this summer.
Dude, the face on that shirt kills me. Every time I see it, I'm just like...
Well, now you can buy it as a journal or to take to your summer sales meetings.
I mean, why would you not?
Jot down all of your shady sales techniques and what and whatever the hell. And then lastly, we took a few other designs. Actually, no, two more things. We took a few other designs, and we turned them into coffee mugs.
That's also awesome.
Which was also awesome, especially for the Pro Bowl All-Star one where it's like, bro, I'm gonna make like 50 grand this summer. I mean, it could be like your affirmation, drinking it straight out of a mug and just saying it to yourself all the time, or to everyone else while you're at the gym. And
Right.
then speaking of the gym, lastly, a couple people requested that we turned some of these shirts into like tank tops or muscle shirts. And so we opened up our clothing line to allow that functionality for a few select shirts. I will say, however, the bro, I'm gonna make like 50 grand this summer Pro Bowl All-Star shirt does not convert well to be a tank top.
It doesn't?
No, it does not. But
That's really sad.
it is. But never fear, everyone. You could still just buy the shirt and cut off the sleeves and be a douchebag. I mean, you don't have to buy it in a tank top form. It's you could just buy a regular one and cut it up and make it how you please. But anyway, I just wanted to announce that stuff. That we made those changes based on feedback from our fans. So thank you guys for listening and providing feedback. It's much appreciated.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
thanks for showing your support. And as always, show your support by buying a shirt and enjoying our merchandise. Caleb and I appreciate it. That way we can use that money to create more ridiculous merchandise.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So today we got a fun topic. So we've been doing our Redux series,
Yes.
going back and talking about things that we talked about when the show first started, like 5-6 years ago or whatever.
Dude, so long ago. So
long
crazy how
ago.
long ago.
And we're seeing if our views have changed, and we already know they really haven't. But
if anything, they've just deepened.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk about how much they've deepened. And last time for this series we discussed high school and
Right.
people that can't let go of it. That was something that we touched on. And today we're
good times.
Good times. And so today we're continuing this Redux series dating back to the early season of the show, the very first season when we started. And this is homeschooling. This is our homeschool Redux episode. Woo! And that was the most unenthusiastic woo I've ever done.
I was about to say, so how do you really feel?
Oh, woo! Hey, homeschooling. No, this is actually really fun. I'm excited for this. I'm actually ridiculously excited for this. I was talking with Caleb. I was chatting with him in our little Discord chat, and I said, dude, I was just reading this and I was just laughing at some of the show notes that I punched up, and I am super excited for this.
As you should be.
Yeah. So before we kind of get into homeschooling, a lot of our focus today is actually going to be on what I've referred to in past shows as low effort parents.
Right.
These dorks, I brought them up in our parental rights episode about maybe 2 months back. It was earlier this year.
Yeah.
We talked about
great show, by the way. Great show.
And the reason we even did that was because of VidAngel and all of their stupidity.
Right.
They put out one of their fake news articles or whatever, like Hollywood
fake
attacking
news. You fake news.
Yeah, Hollywood's attacking the families, and they're threatening your parental rights by what your children can and can't see. And instead of being an actual parent and saying, no, kids, you can't watch this or this,
right?
They want to buy a filtering system and have VidAngel do it for them.
That's the thing for me. Like, as a parent, I'm just kind of like, I mean, how hard is it to just be like, hey, kids, don't watch this. It's not good for you.
A lot of parents these days, especially low effort parents, they want to just be the child's friend and not their parent. It's weird.
I agree.
It's so weird to me.
Well, and it's like you can have a good relationship with them, but you don't. I mean, it's like watching the movie Mean Girls all over again, and Amy Poehler's character, you girls keep me young,
Well,
it's like that. It's like, come on.
And my thing is people naturally, like kids or whatever, children, they naturally view their parents as parents. They don't view them as friends. They view them as like, parental authority figures.
Right, so, which is what they're supposed to,
to be. So, and then the
oddly enough.
Yeah, and then the low effort parents, they take that that effort to actually raise their kid, and they make it into like it's a chore, which it is, but they make it out way more than it needs to be. And they're like, well, I'm just gonna pretend, to be like your best friend.
Well, and it's like, be friendly with your kids. Like, don't be a dick, but geez, I mean, you're not, I'm sorry, but your kids aren't going to be calling you being like, hey, Dad, why don't you come over and play some Xbox? Like, I want to know how many times I've done that with my parents? I'll tell you. It's literally never happened once.
Yo, Dad, bro, you want to come over and like crush some rock stars and play some Halo?
Crush some rock stars.
I mean,
that is awesome. But it's true. But for everybody listening, you get the point. It's like,
yeah, you get the idea.
Like, it's like your parents aren't supposed to be your buddies. They're supposed to be your confidants. They're supposed to be, counselors, people that help you out with stuff.
Yeah, and so we got these low effort parents, and I'm seeing these losers pop up more and more. And just a little bit more to recap what we talked about them in parental rights, as if we haven't given enough of a description. But these are the losers that have their kids just run amok and destroy everything in sight in every public setting imaginable, preferably an Olive Garden. I feel like that's their.
I think that's where they belong.
That's where they hang out, and they're like, oh.
Plus, it's like, I mean, if you're destroying an Olive Garden, what are we really losing?
Yeah, and then they try to do weird things like when they're ordering, they're like, oh yeah, Braden can't eat whole noodles, so you're gonna cut the noodles in half. And
it's like, because you can't do that when you get it.
Oh, exactly, and a weird crap like that. And they also don't tip.
Oh no, they're no,
because they're just terrible. And then they load up their SUV and then go elsewhere to destroy
their state-funded SUV.
Gosh, so
I want to be friends with every single one of these people.
Gosh, the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, I am friends with a lot of these people. It's sad. Like, don't get me wrong, they're like kind of cool friends, but they're like shitty parents.
But it's got to be fun to watch.
Not really. It's kind of cringy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you kind of cringe because you're like, you see the kid just running amok, and you're like, yo, shouldn't you, like, I don't know, tell your kid to quit knocking over furniture and the lamp, whatever the hell,
or like get dressed,
or smacking the dog, something like that.
Yeah, the one that I've seen the most is where they're just like, their kids just run around like in their undies, and you're just like, oh, cool. Didn't know this was happening today.
Shouldn't you like supervise them? I mean, no, okay, sure.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, sorry.
But bottom line, they don't watch their children worse shit, and they're always pawning their kids off on a babysitter, tablet, or television. One of those three.
So a real live babysitter or other fake news babysitters.
Pretty much fake babysitters.
You fake babysitters. You fake.
Yeah.
You fake.
And then also they get upset with whoever is watching their kid and claims they're doing a terrible job.
Right. Yeah. What is up with that?
And ironically enough, they don't take the effort to do an equal or better job.
Right. Which it's like, hey, remember how this is your kid?
Yeah, exactly. Well, when they do remember, they step up because, when enough is enough, the low effort parent will step in and show who's in charge.
And it usually involves a belt.
Oh my gosh. Well, not really with the kids. I'm talking more like another, quote, authority figure.
Yeah.
When they're done, they're like, oh no, don't worry, son. Dad's not going to be a bro anymore. Today, Dad's going to be a dad. and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna play catch." And it's like, "Oh, you're gonna play catch with me?" No, bro. I'm gonna go to the school. I don't think they've been treating you right, and I'm gonna give those teachers a piece of my mind.
Yep.
And so the low effort parents, like their interactions with schools is hilarious.
I can imagine.
I feel bad for the teachers. I feel so bad for the teachers.
Who doesn't?
The low effort parents.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about those guys.
And they always whine that they're, my kid's not getting enough attention in the classroom. Well, there's like 30 plus other kids. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen? Send it to a private school. Well, that costs money, and
we can't afford that.
I'm saving money for my kid to go to college later on in life because their education is important later, but not now.
My favorite part about all of that too is that it's like, my kid has so much potential. All right, well, could you maybe work on that potential at home? Maybe do some homework with them or something? No, they're too smart for that.
Yeah, they have a different kind of potential. The kind that doesn't require my supervision.
Yeah, that's the part that's always hilarious to me because it's like, wait a minute, they have potential, but not potential you can unlock. Aren't you like their dad?
I'm more like a bro. I mean, not just a bro in general, but like a bro to my kid.
Yeah, we don't really believe in labeling our relationship.
We have like an alternative view of parenting. You know what I'm saying?
And then you're just like, no, because nobody knows what you're talking about. Except
other low effort parents.
I mean, fair enough.
Brainwashed by the same dogma.
So, I think they probably get together in like an Alcoholic Anonymous setting,
They do.
It's
they
like,
do.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm a low effort mom or whatever,
They do, but it's not quite like an Alcoholics Anonymous setting. It's like at the park.
Oh yeah.
and all the other kids, they'll run amok, and no one is actually watching them. They're all just kind of hanging out, like having a picnic or a grill out or whatever the fuck, and then like they'll all just talk about how great they are and brag about their accomplishments while they're kids.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen those people at the park.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's not like they say like, "Hi, I'm Bob. I'm a low effort parent." It's more like they're bragging about how they're not really, that great of parents. Which, I mean, by not great of parents, I mean they're talking about everything else but parenting, except when they talk about like their kid is homeschooled. Which I'll get to that later. But let's reel it back into how low effort parents get pissed at the schools.
Yes.
They're mad that their kid's not getting enough attention. So what they do is they pull their children out of the classroom to show that egghead of a teacher who's in charge of their child's future.
Yeah, I'll show that egghead.
I'm gonna show that egghead. You think you're so smart, with your bachelor's degree and your student debt, but you know what? I sell alarm systems. So what up? I mean,
I love how we've combined this amorphous character into a Provo All-Star / low effort parent.
They kind of are the same person though. Like when a Provo All-Star has kids and grows up, and by grows up I mean gets older. I don't mean like actually grows up.
Sure. No maturity is gained.
Oh, totally. And so they're like, well, we're gonna make sure that our kid's taught the right way, and he's gonna get the attention he wasn't getting inside the classroom. The irony is the kid went from not getting when low effort parents homeschool. The irony is the kid goes from not getting enough attention at school to now not getting any attention at home. It's
we feel like it's a good alternative.
We're gonna show them. Oh, come on, babe. We're pulling this kid out of school.
Come on, babe. They're totally the people that say babe about everything. It's like they're like, have you seen the movie what's the movie? Hot
Rod?
Hot Rod.
No, I was just thinking Hot Rod.
No, babe, no. Babe.
Will Arnett, he is such a
dude, that guy is awesome. Anybody who doesn't worship that man's the ground that man's feet walk on is an idiot. And no friend to me. Probably a low effort parent of some sort.
Man, he's great guy. But
no, babe, no.
So the low effort parents they pull their child out of school, and now they're not getting any attention. The child, the kids. And here's the thing, teaching takes effort, and
Yep.
effort is in short supply for the low effort parent, obviously.
I mean, thus the name.
That's the name. They can't be bothered. They're too busy with Pinterest, fantasy football, or having an affair.
Or all three.
Or all three, perhaps. I mean, that's one busy low effort parent.
Hey, your efforts have to be put somewhere.
I just can't raise the kid. I got to meet up with the chick I met on Ashley Madison. You understand, don't you, babe? I mean,
no,
sure, honey.
I got confused.
Yeah, but the thing is, raising children is obviously hard.
Yep.
So instead of giving their kids, a valuable education, they just give them the hard ignore.
Yep.
And then
gotta love that.
Yeah. So now backtracking back to our picnic thing or whatever, or at the park where all the low effort parents get together, they always go through such great lengths to brag socially about how busy they are raising their kids, and then doing other stuff, like making a living selling essential oils, going to church. and here's the other thing. Snake oil. And yet they still find the time in their busy schedule to go to the gym, blog, and keep up with their rigorous Facebook posting.
Oh yeah. Those things are important. You can't get rid of all of them. Or
even one of them, especially when it comes to raising your kid.
Yeah.
Why sacrifice?
Can't be bothered with that one.
Yeah, for your homeschooled child. So now that we've addressed or we've given a crash course about how terrible low effort parents are, let's talk about how this applies to homeschooling a bit deeper. So when Caleb and I originally talked about homeschooling a few years ago and now, and we kind of made this obvious then, but we're going to make it more obvious now. We're not talking about like homeschooling generally when we give it the negative connotation. We're talking about when somebody's low effort parents.
Right. Because there is a big difference.
Oh yeah, totally. And the other thing about these low effort parents is they vastly overestimate their abilities to educate their children.
Or do anything, really.
Or do anything, but especially their child. Like it's pure arrogance. I think is the best way to describe the low effort parent, and also about 90% of the people in Happy Valley, just pure arrogance. But they just vastly overestimate their ability to educate their child. They act like because they just say they're homeschooling their child, it's somehow the child is better off than a fresh Harvard graduate.
Yeah, which that's the funny thing is like their benchmark is always like super high, and they're always just like, well, yeah, I'm doing little Timmy a favor by bringing him home.
We did, he was just being held back by, hanging out with all the kids. They just didn't get him,
Yeah, and his social skills were they were being developed, but in all the wrong ways. And it's like,
he was an entrepreneur. He was making a lot of money by bullying those kids and taking their lunch money. And we made sure that now that he's home, he's putting those skills to much better use, like teaching him to sell alarm systems when he gets older.
I mean, what else would he do? He's got to stay in the family biz.
No kidding. So
this hypothetical person is my favorite person in the world.
Here's the sad thing. Like, as I was writing this up, I didn't really make the connection of how true this is. I wrote it up. I'm like, hello, parent. But now, like, saying it out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know a lot more of these people than I thought.
I'm sure that was a fun realization.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelmingly sad. But none of them listen to this show. I'm assuming. So I think I'm okay.
Well, sure, but that's because they're low effort. They can't be bothered to listen to things.
Course. Yeah.
Bro,
I just put in some Spotify and like I'm good. Just Trapped and Breaking Benjamin on repeat. It's awesome.
I mean,
yes,
they could at least pick a few decent bands.
Of course not.
Those dirt bags.
So I want to talk about not like the low effort parents from like the bro perspective, but just like a general perspective. Because
Right.
this happens in a lot more than just like a new age thing. This isn't a new age thing with this low effort parents, but it's becoming more prevalent as of the
Right.
last like decade or two. So
Right.
growing up, like out here in Iowa, I knew a family that had several children that had a hard time adjusting socially. And I brought this up on the original show, but I want to bring
Right.
it up again just because it's so worth noting. And they were just having a hard time just adjusting. And instead, though, of helping the kids like learn social skills or anything like that. And here's the other thing with social skills. I really believe a lot of like social skills and things like that can be taught because there's so many books out there on this subject. There's like a book for everything, and like,
absolutely.
And how hard is it to read a book to your kids? Or I mean, if you even want to take the extra effort, which most low effort parents, one, they're not going to get a book, but two, they're also not going to read a book and then teach their child.
I was going to say, like, that's asking them to do 3 things too many.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, to be honest, there isn't a lot of effort that has to go into teaching your kids just general things.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Speaking from the guy who has no children, by the way.
Yeah, but okay, but this guy over here, I've got 3 kids, and I'll be honest, it's not that difficult,
Yeah, but just teaching them basic social skills.
Right.
And there's so many books out there. I think How to Win Friends and Influence people.
That's a great book.
That's one of the more popular, well-known ones. You get that with some kids, you got something going on. But anyway, aside from that, instead of the parents, helping these kids work on their social skills, the parents decide to pull their kids completely out of public school.
Yep.
Just completely out. Now, let's think about this. The effort it would have taken to initially, buy a book, read it to your kids, and talk with them is a lot less in the long run than actually homeschooling your kids. Because
absolutely.
This was the reason they were pulled. It wasn't that they had bad grades or anything like that. It was that they were just having a hard time adjusting socially. Which, let's also be real, most kids are awkward anyway. That's why they're in public school.
Yeah,
so they can talk to other kids, and it's just basically a government. It's a social experiment backed with government funding, is what public school really is, for the most part.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like every kid is gonna, be the Fonz.
And it's not like any kid is honestly going to be the Fonz.
I guess that's true.
Fonz grew up to be, I mean, even the Fonz after he grew up wasn't anywhere near the Fonz, Now he's just a cameo guy in Adam Sandler movies.
No kidding. Or Arrested Development, or Parks and Rec.
Also yes.
When that was on. But anyway, Henry Winkler jokes aside.
I honestly am a big fan of Henry Winkler. I like him a lot.
He's a cool guy. Merlin, oddly enough, met him at Comic-Con.
Really? That's cool.
It wasn't even at a booth. It was like before Comic-Con started. Merlin went there as a vendor at like the very first one in Salt Lake. And Henry Winkler was like walking around just meeting people, I guess. And Merlin went up, shook his hand, and I guess shot the breeze with him for a bit.
That's super cool, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, social skills, they can be learned, but let's be real. They're kids. They're not going to need an insane amount of social skills. They're not going out to sell alarm systems.
No, I mean, even if they were, it's not like that requires social skills.
No, it really doesn't.
Or at least good social skills.
No, exactly. So they decided to pull their kids out of school rather than, do this, thing that takes maybe let's say let's talk liberally an hour a day. That's liberally.
That is honestly, that is pretty liberal.
I mean,
it really does not take that much time.
Yeah, the most it could be, as opposed to homeschooling your kid, which let's say 8 hours a day during the week. Like, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, were people not crunching the numbers on that? I mean, obviously they weren't, but when you think about it just in pure math terms of hours and effort, to me, we're getting a book and reading to the kids seems like the lazy way out. But
yeah. If you really wanted to be like low effort and live up to your title, you really
yeah. But no, they take the not just the low road, but the lower road.
Yeah, the lowest road.
The lowest road. It's like right next to the river.
Constantly flooding with bad ideas.
It's in the flood zone. Flooding with bad ideas. That's a good one.
Right.
And so they take the lowest road and they pull their kids completely out of public school. And now instead of, everyone can tell where this is going. This is just because I think people have seen this before as well.
If they haven't, they will.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And it was also in our third show.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. But so the kids weren't homeschooled at all, and they just ran amok, and they didn't learn anything.
No,
they just
because how could they? No one was teaching.
They just chilled out, and the parents were just being cool with them, which I don't know. The idea of your parents being cool with their kids, that kind of disturbs me a lot.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I totally get it. I totally get it. It is weird.
Yeah, but so they're being cool with their kids while they're running amok. And these kids, they're craving knowledge, rules, and social structure.
Yeah, not getting any of it.
Yeah, and they decided to go seek it on their own, and they did from MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
Oh, man. Remember that?
I totally remember MySpace. I'm not going to lie. Part of me hated MySpace at the time, but looking back and seeing how terrible Facebook has become, I kind of miss MySpace.
Dude, MySpace, honestly, in MySpace's heyday, it was pretty dope.
Yeah. The only thing we could go trash MySpace for a long time.
Sure, but I honestly had a lot of fun on it.
Yeah, so did I.
Like the one thing that I do think that and this is the thing that I really liked about MySpace versus Facebook, was especially the fact that on MySpace, I don't know if you ever did this, but you could personalize your page and put a specialized background and
yeah. I did that.
Dude, so did I. What was your background?
I don't remember. I just remember it looked badass.
That's awesome, dude. That's
awesome.
Mine was Red Sox.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big
fan. I had a lot of fun with it though. I really, really kind of did enjoy MySpace, despite some of the stuff that it had. But I want to just say, and then we'll get back to the low effort parenting and the homeschooling. I would much rather party with Tom from MySpace than Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, dude, Tom from MySpace is the man.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he sold the company when the selling was good.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, props to Tom. But so the kids, they went to go, get social structure from MySpace, which
that's not a good source.
No, not a good place for social structure, despite all the nice things said about MySpace in the past, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. It really isn't the place for social structure.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all, man.
So
it's terrible for that.
Yeah, and it ended up that these girls that were being homeschooled, they just all end up getting pregnant from random people they met on MySpace.
You do.
And I'm positive that their kids that they had, they're not going to be sent to public school because the parents were, quote, homeschooled, and they turned out, quote, fine, at least in their mind.
We have different definitions of fine for sure.
Yeah, and this is going to create a very vicious cycle of socially inept people without education.
Yep.
And skills to help them succeed in life, and it's kind of sad. It's like really sad.
Oh no, I agree. And then there's, and the funny thing about it, and I know we talked about this in the first show, is that, if it's done right, it can be effective.
Totally. And let's talk about that a little bit. So I know a decent amount of people that have been homeschooled that like you wouldn't know. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing to be homeschooled, but homeschool kind of carries like a little bit of a negative connotation.
Well, and there are certain things and certain, when it's done wrong, there are very obvious stereotypes. But the funny thing about it is that when it's done correctly and you're given, opportunities to still socialize and do other things, honestly, it's fine. Like we talked about in our first show, I was homeschooled for a few years, and the thing that my mom did, and that she just established a network of people, that would meet together and help us. That way we would, be doing social activities, we'd be talking to people our own age and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, all the kids that were from that group, we all turned out pretty normal, but then there were, other kids in the area that didn't participate. And honestly, they turned out to be weird throughout.
Yeah. And without that social structure, getting to know like other children, of course, it's going to have, some issues.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the thing about it, is that, like, again, and when I say done right, I mean you actually pay attention to your kids, you actually spend some time educating them, and you actually spend time allowing them to, develop some social skills, and not only allowing them but encouraging them to develop social skills. Because let's be honest, when you're not involved in school and things like that, you really do need a little bit of encouragement to develop social skills and to be put into social situations, and that's just one of those things. My parents did a really good job of doing that. And so, once I went back to school in 8th grade, I didn't really miss a beat, I just went back in, and it was like, okay, I know all these kids already because, I did activities and stuff. We played games, went to, church, sports, whatever else, and I already knew a lot of kids. And so it wasn't that hard.
Like Jimmy Brexit?
Oh, dude, Jimmy Brexit's my favorite.
Oh, of course.
No, he's a dick and I hate him.
Oh, he's a dick and I hate him.
No, funny thing though. He actually ended up marrying someone that served in my mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of a...
The more you know.
Well, dude, I found out by going to a reunion, and then I was like, well, not coming to these again.
Ha! Oh, Jimmy Brexit.
Oh, I hate that kid and his nosy mother.
Is Jimmy gonna homeschool his kids?
I don't know, and honestly, if he told me, I probably wouldn't respond.
Oh boy!
If he messaged me on Facebook, I would leave it as read, but not responded. and if he told me in person, I'd give him that little, I'd give him that little eyebrow thing, where you're just like, huh, okay, and then you just walk away, because why in the world would we talk about this?
Freaking Jimmy Brexit. But back to the homeschooling thing. Like, when it's done right, it's good, but with so many low effort parents.
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That's why homeschooling has a negative connotation, because of the low effort.
Yeah,
parents.
Absolutely. Because the thing is that the kids that had it done right, like, you can't even tell.
Yeah, it's like, you don't even know.
You don't even know I was homeschooled.
You don't even know.
I guess now everybody does.
Yeah.
But otherwise they wouldn't have known.
Oh, totally. So let's I think this is let's bring this to a close. And I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna break down how to spot a low effort parent.
Oh no.
Really quick for people. It's not very long. Just a little quick tips to tell people about who this low effort parent is. I'm pretty sure, though, as people have been listening to this, they're probably thinking like, "Oh, I know at least 5 people like this." But just in case,
would not be surprising.
Just in case you need the nail in the coffin, I got it for you. So if you know someone who is, like generally lazy, and they brag about homeschooling their kids, and they always do this, always, and they don't do it in a text or anything like that, or over Facebook, because they're too busy reposting memes and shit. They always do it in a social situation.
Some meme lords.
Meme lord, yeah, the meme lords, and so they always do it in a social situation where there's other people around where they can brag about their accomplishments.
Right, right.
And then they talk about how great they are doing homeschooling or whatever. These are the low effort. These are the low effort parents I'm referring to. Now, bonus points if they talk about hard work all the time.
Oh,
because
yes.
those people, they're like, oh yeah, I work hard, or like, oh, I'm all about hard work or whatever. It's like it's their affirmation to themselves to like convince themselves they work hard. Because those people are.
Yeah, but it's a lie.
Oh, it is. It's a lie. Those people are lazy.
Affirmations have to be true.
Well, fake it till you make it. It's,
I hate that phrase.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's totally the worst.
My God.
But that's what they do. And anyone who talks about hard work all the time, or just uses the phrase hard work, I should say, or says they work hard and other people are lazy compared to them, those are the low effort parents I'm referring to.
They're the winners.
They're the winners. Winner, chicken dinner. All right. That's our show. I want to thank Caleb Hennon for coming on. And until
always.
And yes, thank you. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 show. For episodes on society and counterculture, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. For regular updates, show notes, and links, head to the MCS1show.com or search AOL keyword MCS1.